Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we're going to go over some of the new update notes from the video that Rise of Kingdoms officially released today. Just a few of the highlights that I saw, but the big thing that I'm going to go over today is the new Cav commanders and kind of what my thoughts are on what kind of pairs are probably going to be good with them, because a lot of the leaks that have been coming out aren't even close to real. And the skills that they're going to have are very different than what I would have expected from them. So let me grab those. Okay, so first off, to when you're getting in the museum, they're going to be doing a event like this. That's just like the Lucerne Scrolls. Free-to-play player, you can get the free-to-play way from 1 to, I assume, like level 30 or something like that. I don't know exactly how far it goes. But I'm guessing you get this currency that you use to unlock the skills for the museum, and some of the different skills for the museum would be like Ethelflaed, I think it was like 10% march speed and like 10% defense or something like that. YSG was getting some extra skill damage. It kind of just depends. A lot of the museum skills I didn't think were that great. I'm not really going to go into them exactly because I think you can watch the Rise of Kingdoms one and they kind of tell you which ones are which. But I wanted to kind of go over this because there's a free-to-play way and a pay-to-win way of getting this materials faster. You're going to get some sovereign keys, resources, and stuff like that. It kind of just depends on how much it's going to cost you per like upgrade of the tokens that you get for these museum things, because they said it would increase depending on how many you have unlocked. So you want to make sure that when you're trying to unlock these, that you unlock the ones you want the most. So I would recommend getting YSG first, then probably Ethelflaed, and then trying to figure something else out, or getting like YSG and then Charles, or something like that, because some of the other ones aren't as good. And the skills will be released when they release the museum, stuff like that. But this is kind of the way it's going to be. You're going to be getting the currency, and I kind of wanted to show that for the most part because that's going to be the main thing that you need to know about the museum. And then for the season, for this spring festival event that we're having, the city skin is going to give you 5% infantry defense for a negative of archer defense of 5%. I think if you don't have an infantry skin, it's an okay skin, but a health skin is definitely better, because we have like 2 or 3 health infantry skins that are better that give you negative attack, I think, or something. But most of the time when you get health, it reduces health, so defense is okay, but using a health skin is definitely better. But this is probably going to be one of those that you have to spend a lot of gems for these city skins, because sometimes they give it to you where it's like you have to spend like 10,000 gems or something for one of these city skins. I'm not sure exactly how they expect you to get this one, but that would be my assumption, because sometimes it's easy to get where it's like in the 7-day event, or the 7,000 gem event. That one's easy to get, the city skin, because you pay 7,000 gems. This one's usually where you had to like buy the currency to get more for each level and stuff, depending on what you get. But I would recommend getting the gold heads over the city skin if you have a health skin already. So we're going to go ahead and go over the new commanders. Bertrand is cavalry, conquering, and defense. He's going to do, over the next 3 seconds, normal attacks have a 10% chance to deal direct damage to the current target, damage factor of 700, and then they're going to reduce their rage by 20, so that's 3 hits of 700 damage factor, which is 2100 damage factor, and I mean that's a fairly high damage factor for a cavalry, for a damage over time. So Freddy's damage factor is 800 damage factor over the course of 3 seconds, but he does not reduce the rage of the target. In a way, it's not really that good to reduce the rage of the target, but he'll be doing slightly less damage than Freddy does already, which is not necessarily as good. I would have gave him the same damage factor. So for that, it's like a little bit less than Freddy, like I said. But there's a 100% probability that you're going to get it. I thought I said 10%, my apologies. It's actually a 100% chance once you have it at 5. Then his second skill is cavalry units led by his commander gain 10% increased attack and 10% health, and also gain 10% march speed and reduce by 5% damage from all sources when you're outside Alliance territory. That skill is kind of like, I think it's like William's skill, or as a Trajan skill kind of thing, where you're outside of Alliance territory, you get some buffs. Then when attacking cities or strongholds, troops led by this commander deal 10% increased damage, kind of what we usually see. Cavalry units led by this commander gain 1% damage boost for every 15 seconds per 10 seconds in a battle. This effect can stack up to 5 times. So it goes up to 5% increased damage after the certain amount of time has passed. For doing a damage bonus. It's kind of like a stacking bonus that you're going to get over time, kind of like Harold's increased attack for reduced defense over time. His fourth skill is Cavalry units led by this commander gain 20% increased defense. Troops led by this commander gain a 10% chance to heal. Healing factor is 250 for 3 seconds. So that's like a 750 factor, I think. And then it can trigger most once every 5 seconds. So it's going to be like a Ramses or like a double C heal, where you heal once or twice over the course of time. 750 factor healing is it's okay, but I think Richard's is like double that. So I mean, healing's not a good thing really, too much, especially when you're not doing a whole lot of damage. His expertise skill is troops led by this commander take 5% reduced skill damage and deals skill damage to the attacker upon taking skill damage. Damage factor 400. This effect can trigger at most once every 5 seconds. This guy can be getting from the Mightiest Governor, and then we got Alexander Nevsky, which is cavalry versatility, and I think it was skill damage. Okay, I'm much more excited for this guy, and he's going to be on the wheel. We're going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. So for his active skill, he deals direct damage to the target, damage factor 2300. I think that's probably one of the highest damage factors that we've ever seen. Reduces their defense by 15 times the number of enemies surrounding the target, so kind of like a William skill for the next 3 seconds. The number of surrounding enemies that can be factored into this damage calculation has an upper limit of 3. 15 times 3 is your most, so what is that, 45% reduced defense for that person, for the target. So damage factor of 300 is pretty high, but there's no AoE on this, I think it's just direct damage factor. Next skill is cavalry units led by this commander gain 20% increased attack and 20% increased march speed. They also gain 20% increased health outside of Alliance territory. There's a lot of outside of Alliance territory buffs for these guys. And troops led by this commander consist of only cavalry. Skill damage is increased by 25%. Skill damage is increased by an extra 35% for 4 seconds upon casting an active skill. The effect can trigger at most once every 5 seconds. So some skill damage bonuses. Then another passive skill is going to be cavalry units led by this commander gain 20% increased defense. Troops led by this commander deal 10% increased damage to archers, I would assume, and take 5% more. Take 5% reduced damage from infantry. Would be my assumption, or it could be vice versa. I'm not sure. It's not on the screenshot. And then the expertise skill is troops led by this commander deal 5% increased normal attack damage and gain a 10% chance to increase the health of cavalry units by 30% for 3 seconds when attacked. This effect could trigger at most once every 5 seconds, so another conditional buff. So for these guys, I'm thinking that Alexander is going to be good with either Saladin or XY. Kind of depends on how you want to put them together. I think that's mainly going to be the pairs for Alexander. For Bertrand, I'm not very hyped for Bertrand. He's kind of like a damage over time commander. He's kind of like Ramses, I guess, in a way. But he's got the defense tree. I don't know how good he's going to be. Leave a comment down below if you guys, what you guys think a good pair would be for these two. If not them together, they might be really good together. But I'm going to be looking at Alexander to be the one that I go for. He's going to be on the Wheel of Fortune. So I would assume in the next, not this MG, but probably the one after it, these new Cow commanders will most likely be in MG would be my assumption. I don't think that they'll add them to the next one. They could, the one that's coming up this week. I doubt that they will, but they could. You never know. But I would be saving your gems if you're going to be spinning the wheel for Alexander. Because like I said, if you have Saladin or XY, most likely those will be one of the top tier pairs. I don't think that any of the other commanders will do as well with him, because Saladin will protect him, and then he'll do his big damage factor to a target when Saladin is protecting him. If you put him with XY, it's going to be a little squishy, I think, a little bit, but it's going to be kind of like putting Guan with Alex kind of thing, so that might be really good too. But putting XY with William is probably still better, because you're going to cast your William skill first and buff all your other commanders. So I think that Saladin and this guy's secondary will probably be a really good pair, simply because Saladin, if you have XY is going to be going with William, and then Saladin needs somebody, so I think that this guy will kind of replace any of the other commanders that you could put with Saladin. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and throw a like and subscribe on it, and I hope you guys are hyped for this, and hope you guys have a nice day.